There's a particular shame that comes from singing out of tune, or being told you've been singing out of tune, or just hearing yourself sound bad. And it's the kind of shame that can make you not want to sing out at all because you don't want other people to hear you. And it can prevent you from joining a chorus, auditioning for something, or probably even more importantly, getting help. Because if you sing out of tune and then you go to a voice lesson and the voice teacher hears you sing out of tune, well, then they might tell you that you really shouldn't be singing. And you don't want to hear that because you really love singing. This is a real fear. This is a real thing. I've made a video training with some really simple exercises that will help you sound better. You can do them on your own. You can do them when nobody else is home to hear you. Not all of them even require you to make a lot of noise. But if you do them, if you make a habit of them, if you make a practice of doing them, you will improve the sound of your voice and you will improve your tunefulness. Because honestly, most singing out of tune comes from bad technique, not because there's something wrong with your brain, you have no talent, God spites you, none of that. Most of singing out of tune is just about how you're using your body. And so I give you exercises you can do in the privacy of your own home and see how they feel, see how they work, and reach out to me and let me know. To get to those exercises, visit my website, mvmusique.com. Right on the homepage, there's a box where you can input your email and I'll send them right to you. Your voice is unique to you. It grows as you grow. It changes as you change. If you're curious about the relationship between your voice and your body, your heart and your mind, welcome. My name is Michèle Voillequé, and I can't wait to hear you. Today's podcast is the first in a series. I'm not sure how many episodes there are going to be, but the first in a series on leading when you're not in charge. A question many of my choral singers ask me, or that comes up in a lesson, is what do I do when the people around me are not singing the right notes? I think I know the right note. My section is behind the conductor all the time. That's a question about leadership, right? You've identified a problem. You want to know how to help solve it. And you're not in charge. You're not the conductor. You're not the section leader. A lot of choral singing boils down to herding cats. But the question is a good one. How can I be the best leading singer I can be, regardless of what else is going on? So that's one way that leading when we're not in charge comes up in my studio. The other way is with folks who are not thinking about a singing environment at all, but just find themselves in life in situations that they're feeling called to step forward. They're feeling called to be a bigger, more powerful version of themselves. How do I do that? How do I lead when it's really just me? I'm not in charge of the project. I'm not the head of the company or the corporation. I'm not the one with the sign on the desk that says the buck stops here. But I am in a system, and I want to be the best person I can be, the best version of myself. I want to lead. I want to show people how it can be better. And I'm not in charge. So that's the impetus for this. And I'm going to be speaking both to singers and to regular people, or to singers and to special people, however you want to think about that. What I have to say is good for everybody who's a human. So to get started, I wanted just to provide an overview, like how I'm thinking about it. When we're leading, being an effective leader boils down to really managing yourself in a number of areas, right? It means knowing your values and what's within your reach, knowing your capacity, knowing your capability, knowing your skills. It's about being able to listen and hear where the gaps are, hear what's going on in the world around you. And it means remaining open to the world around you, not just simply deciding it needs to be different, putting your head down and going, and the world be damned, but listening carefully and continuing to observe and noticing the effect that you're having or not having so that you can make adjustments. And where I want to start is with Stephen Colbert, because he has a part of his show. It's not every interview he does, but there are many interviews throughout the year where he sits somebody down and asks them to fill out the Colbert Questionnaire. This is a series of questions that allow a person to be truly known. When you've taken the Colbert Questionnaire, you've allowed yourself to be truly known. Of course, this is a comedian, right? So, of course, you're not really truly known, but it's a fun, static interview form. And lots of people have run through it. And I ran myself through it. You can find my answers on my website, mvmusique.com, if you want to read my answers to the Colbert Questionnaire. One question he asks in particular, I think, is really valuable for this as we're considering how do you lead when you're not in charge. And that is, describe the rest of your life in 5 words. And you can imagine any number of ways to answer that question. But when we describe the rest of our life in 5 words, if you take the question seriously, it really tells you what's important to you. They can be a sentence or they can just be single words, your choice. But it really tells you about what you value, what you find important. What are you going to spend the rest of your life doing, and how is it going to be? So it's not the end of your life, it's the rest of your life. I want to share a few examples of how different celebrities have answered the question. Jodie Foster said, food, movies, skiing, bed, family. Mark Hamill said, staying in pajamas all day. Michelle Obama said, family, friends, in the sun. Billie Eilish, laughter, smiling, snuggling, eating, singing. Sigourney Weaver said, forest, ocean, garden, family, friends, dog. And she knew it was 6, and Stephen said that was okay. And the last one I'll share with you is John Baptiste, who was Colbert's band leader for quite a long time. And so he had the opportunity to watch this interview over and over and over and over again, and to think about his answer. And his just very simply trying to change the world. I think you can hear in these examples what's important to the people. And you can infer from what they said, what they value, what they find most important, what it means to be truly them. How are they going to be happy? How do they feel most like themselves? How do they feel authentic? How do they feel strong, committed? How do they know they're doing the right thing? And so I want this for you too. I want you to sit with, what are your 5 words? Describe the rest of your life in 5 words. And I'll share with you mine. Singing, teaching, loving, connecting dots. And that's honestly what I'm doing. It's what I do now, and it's what I want to do for that's the rest of my life in 5 words. And in there, for myself, I can hear the values of community and collaboration, wholeness, connection, learning, acquiring wisdom as a value, taking action, experiencing the world, working for justice, empathy, transformation, generosity, the practice of inquiry, asking questions, of course, love and pluralism. Diversity is is pluralism really obvious? I think it is. I think the connecting dots is about pluralism, is about finding the connections between the different things. And knowing that you're enough and that we need one another. We all need one another. And so when I'm looking for myself, when I'm in a situation where I'm not in charge, but I want to be leading, that's what I know is under me. That's what I know is fueling my activity and engagement in the world, are those values. And that makes it easier for me to know what to do next. This is a short episode because I want you to take on this task. I want you to describe the rest of your life in 5 words and see what values you can pull out of that. Maybe you already have a list of values that you developed years ago, or maybe last week at a workshop. Maybe as part of your turning of the year ritual, maybe you sit down and you think about what your values are, what's important to you. Find those things. Find the 5 words, see what values you can identify, and next time we'll look at how to apply that when you're out in the world and wanting to lead, even if you're not in charge. Thanks so much for listening. If you enjoyed today's episode, please rate and review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen. Every positive review helps new people find the show. Subscribing ensures you'll learn about new episodes as soon as they come out. If you have a question about singing or speaking or being, please send me an email at letters@mvmusique.com. That's letters at M as in Mary, V as in Victor, MUSIK.com. Transcripts and show notes are available on my website. You can subscribe to my newsletter there too. Can't Wait to Hear You is produced in conjunction with Particulate Media. I'm your host, Michèle Voillequé. I can't wait to hear you.